now in session.
If everyone can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start with our introductions. We have Kevin Metcalf, Board Director, Wayne Staples, Board Vice President / CFO, Jackie Snedden, Board President, Jean Sandoval, Board Secretary, Eric Czar, our Assistant General Manager. I'm Jerry Mupo, your General Manager. And we have Cindy Graves, our Activities Director, and also Tad Creasy, our Division Manager. All right, a couple of announcements. Just for everybody's information, the board has met with the landscape consultant and has reviewed a design of what is commonly now called as our playground out here on the lodge grounds. And so they're going to be meeting and discussing the presentation of the conceptual design. So everybody get prepared to take a look at what we have planned for our playground. At the last meeting, there were a couple of comments or questions asked. Can you hear me? It's the grounds, it's the lodge facility, just everything. You know, how we're going to renovate and provide additional amenities. Previous homeowner comments at the last meeting was potholes on Four Seasons. I believe that we've located where the potholes were over by Plymouth Rock. I did see that there have been some repairs done by Hovnanian, so I think that issue has been resolved at this point. The question also was about Mesa Verde, the stop sign going into the circle, and that was on the sign plan approved by the City of Beaumont, so that is a sign that is necessary. And then the Rules Committee reviewed the homeowner request to eliminate district delegates, board term limits, and barring district delegates from sponsoring candidates. Just an update on that, the Rules Committee did review the comments and decided not to recommend board term limits, and we are going to include an article in the Breeze describing the differences regarding voting with or without district delegates, and then hopefully get some homeowner feedback on that. And then as far as barring district delegates from sponsoring candidates, while we can't restrict it, we're just going to request that the district delegates remain neutral when they are hosting events. Okay, just a reminder. There was a request that committee minutes be available for homeowner review, and so starting in June, you will start seeing those on our website. And then also under my manager's update in the last Breeze, I had said take a look at your stucco, your trim, your shutters as far as the needs for painting. Just a reminder, stucco generally is not painted. I misspoke on that. Generally it is fog coated, so take a look and see if anything is needed for your stucco. However, the comment about painting your shutters and your fascia still remains, so take a look at that. And then, I know we've all been waiting, we are going to be presented with the conceptual design for Rec Center 3, and the plan, it will be going to the city soon. However, it will be available for homeowner comment and questions pretty quick, probably in the next, few days, Kevin? Okay, so that'll be up in the lobby. Take a look. We'll have a box for your comments and your questions. We'll also include information in the Breeze with the photo. We're requesting that all comments and questions be submitted before June 10th. That's the day before our next board meeting. So take a look, get your comments and questions in, and we'll be looking at those next month. So the next, yes, Jackie.
Okay. This is something that's been going on in our community for a really long time, and it's a dangerous situation. We have a number of residents in our community that want to walk in the streets with the concept that either the asphalt is softer than the concrete, which may in scientific terms be so, but a good pair of shoes would remedy that. So far, we've lost 6 trees, a meter box, a fire hydrant, a light pole, of people running off our streets and hitting those. And I'm concerned more, it's not so much if, but when that's going to be a resident rather than a hard object. The other issue is a number of people decide to walk in the streets at night in dark clothing. A number of people have come to different people here on the board and other residents of the community that they have almost hit another resident. So please, hopefully none of you are walking in the streets, but if this could just take it through just to let your neighbors know if they're doing that, it's a very dangerous thing. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the organization of the board, and the current board members have looked at the different positions, and on the agenda, I believe it states that Jackie will remain as president, Wayne Staples will serve as vice president, CFO, Jean Sandoval will serve as secretary, and then Kevin Metcalf, John Mescal, Stephen Moffitt, and Freddie Hernandez will remain as directors. The committee liaisons, Jackie Snedden will serve as the architectural liaison, Jean Sandoval will serve as the bistro liaison, Wayne Staples will serve as the communications liaison, Jean will serve as EPC liaison, Wayne will serve as finance liaison, Jean will serve as landscaping liaison, Jackie and Wayne will serve as co-liaisons for the Rules and Regs Committee, Jackie will serve as Safeties and Facilities Committee liaison, Jean will serve as Social Committee liaison, and Wayne will serve as Ad Hoc Technology Committee liaison. So can I have a motion to accept those appointments?
So moved.
I have a motion by Wayne Staples. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Jean Sandoval. Any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, before we get started on the agenda items, just a note, new business item C, which is the Summit Hedge proposal, has been removed from the agenda. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started on homeowner input. Just as a reminder and as a courtesy to all in the room, please remember to turn off your cell phone, and if you have an emergency and need to take a call, you may want to step outside of the room. Homeowner input is limited to 3 minutes per homeowner, and only one request to speak form may be submitted per homeowner. There will be no sharing or passing of time to another person. Homeowner input may be held for a maximum period of 30 minutes before the board meeting begins to allow the board to proceed with the business portion of the meeting. This portion of the meeting is limited to board participation only. Residents are welcome and encouraged to stay for the full meeting to witness the business of the corporation taking place by your governing agents. So we'll go ahead and start our homeowner.
And before we go, I'd
Yes.
like to ask, we are now recording our board meeting, and you'll notice that we've set the podium somewhat closer and facing us. So anyone coming up to make a presentation at the podium, if they could remain facing in this direction so that we'll be able to pick up your comments on the recording.
Great. Okay, our first speaker, Vivian Samuel.
Vivian Samuel, 175 Brush Creek. My topic is water and the wastage of it in here. The Saturday that we had the garage sale on Quiet Creek, that water ran down Quiet Creek for 2.5 hours before some guy came from Mecca to turn it off. I understand that our ruling here is that they have 2 hours to get here. I would like to suggest that we consider a different alternative. We had this problem 2 or 3 years ago, I believe I talked to you about it, Jackie, and you were told Crystal put it on the agenda. I don't know if you guys discussed it or what, but to allow the water running 2.5 hours, we're hiring these people as an outside vendor, and yet it seems they have the keys and they have the control. I'd like to suggest we figure something else out that makes more sense than that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian.
Lynn, I would like, Lynn, do you want to take that up at the next landscape meeting?
Okay, next speaker, Toby Davis.
Okay, I want to speak about a recent article that I read in the Press Enterprise by Kelly Richardson, who's a community association attorney, and he refers to a civil code section 4735 and 36, and it states, quote, "So long as the drought emergency stays in place, associations may not discipline homeowners for allowing their yard to, quote, go around," unquote. Now, I interpret this to mean that we could request that our sprinklers be turned off and not be wasting water. So, one of my questions is, how will the board and KHOV address this issue? And I also would like to know why we could not shut off the water at its entrance to our property. There has to be a main line going down next to the sidewalk or wherever it is, with a pipe into each yard. Why could we not shut that off and opt out, is my question. And my last question is, will we be allowed to turn our yards into a desert landscape? That's all I'd like the board to consider that issue. And I have copies of this if anybody wants it.
Just give it.
I'll make sure they get a copy. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll look into your inquiry and then we can respond back to you. Okay, thanks. Our next speaker is Louise Lyon.
Good afternoon. I do not have any complaints or even anything of interest to say except welcome to Jean to the board of directors. It's really nice to see you up there. And as always, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the board for everything they do. And you too, Kevin. Thank you. Whoever you are. and to all of you, but I just think that you guys are running such a nice tight ship, and I like your new people that you have. They're fun, they're nice, they're friendly, and they're still, I know some of them feeling their way, but they're doing a really great job. And I'm really like your pigs. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, Louise. Okay, our next speaker is Barbara Kwiatkowska-Amerton.
Hello everyone, I'm Barbara Kwiatkowska-Amerton. I live at 461 Glacier Park, and I add my congratulations to Ms. Jean Sandoval for her election. And my concern is about the count of the votes in the very election. I did email the web page and I left a message which pertains to 560 some votes for Ms. Sandoval, 500 for Ms., whose name I'm sorry, slipped my mind, and 134 or so for me. These three amounts do not add to almost $900, excuse me, 900 votes as it was stated at the last board meeting and also in the Daily Breeze, but to over 1,200 votes. So I requested a clarification as to how many votes there were in total, and if the addition of the votes stated is correct, then the percentage needs to be corrected, or the other way around. that percentage may stay and the votes would be require correction. Or maybe both of those. I would appreciate a response to that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll make sure to respond to your request, Barbara.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, our next speaker is Ann Sexton.
Hi, my name is Ann Sexton. I'm at 1512 Baxter Woods. And I know that you received a letter that we had a request about pine trees that were planted on a slope on Green Creek Trail. And I just want to thank Jerry and the board. It's my understanding that issue's been resolved. And there's still some issues with the trimming of trees, but you're working on that. So just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Gloria Johnson.
Hi, I'm Gloria Johnson. I also live on Baxter Woods. Gloria Johnson. I also live on Baxter Woods. And again, thank you to the board and the landscape committee for resolving the issue regarding those newly planted pine trees. I also submitted another letter regarding the corner of Four Seasons and Green Creek Trail. Because the plantings...
Speak into the microphone.
Because the plantings on that corner do not at all reflect what was submitted on the plans of 2006. The plans of 2006 only show 6 trees to be planted in that corner. And we have 21 trees, 18 of which are pine trees. And the original plans show no pine trees. The reason this is concern for potential fire hazard. If you have trees clustered that closely together that are 30 and 35 feet tall, close to homes. And I submitted the 2005 revisions of the California Public Code 4291, which discusses the home defense zone. And it just seems appropriate to follow these guidelines, given our close proximity to the natural brush area, that we are in a wind corridor, and the extreme drought that we have at the moment. So we would welcome the opportunity to meet with board members and landscape committee members to maybe look at how many trees are planted, how close they are, and what could be done to maybe eliminate potential fire hazard in our area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gloria.
Another, I think, to send on to the landscape committee.
I'll make sure they receive a copy. Okay, our next speaker is Gary Jones.
Hello, members of the board. I'm here today. I'm a fairly recent occupant of the community, and I was contacted just Friday by Gloria, and they were speaking in terms of the 4 homes that they have the slope behind them. And I live at 270 Mission Trail, and I'm one of 4 homes that back up to the slope that, or above the slope that is above Pipe Springs. And I have 3 very overgrown pine trees that are behind my residence, and Gloria made me aware of the landscape committee report, and I understand now that there are some positive things that are being developed there. But I drafted a letter to you the moment that I heard that there was a committee meeting or a board meeting today to address my concerns, because I've moved from Anaheim Hills and I've lived through the 1984 fires there, and if you have not really experienced living through a fire situation that was in, say, 1,600 feet of your home, you haven't experienced terror. And the the three large trees behind specifically my home are almost like a wick that would be available. They sit above the homes that are below, and embers would be very, very easily found their way into those trees. And once there, our home would be at tremendous risk, because all of the homes here have the wood underlayments on the eaves. And if you recall the Laguna Beach fires years ago, it was shown that stucco leaves really radically reduce the potential for loss of a home. But that's something that, you know, is not cost effective, really can't be done. But it definitely can point that you, in terms of the requirements that Gloria provided you with what the civil code sections are, also that the city of Anaheim has strongly prohibited eucalyptus trees and pine trees from being used on slope plantings. And I think that I'm looking forward to the report of the landscape committee that would consider the removal of those large pine trees. I would appreciate that on their efforts, but at worst case scenario,
Thank you. I'm sorry, your 3 minutes is up.
keeping it to 90%. Thank you very much.
Mr.
And
Jones, did
here
you
are
have a letter?
Here are photos of,
If you have something, if you'd like to give copies to Jerry, you can make copies of your presentation.
We'll make sure to provide that to the board and the committee.
Thank you. Those are
Perfect.
these will be. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, another item to the
For
landscape.
landscape. Landscape is going to be busy.
Taking care of everything.
Okay, our next speaker is Avi Green.
Maybe the first thing we need to do is work on the technology for these things, because it's really hard to hear back there. Anyway, just briefly, I want to congratulate Jean for coming onto the board and offer my wishes to the board to have good luck, great wisdom, and a great deal of internal fortitude, because you're going to need it. There's a lot of stuff going on. The only thing that I have to comment on is communication again. It seems to be one of my perennial themes. I'm glad that we're going to have committee minutes added to our website. I think that's great. And I would get encouraged that those items that are coming up for the board to be acted upon also be included in their detail, not just in their title. Just as the city of Beaumont does, it offers that for residents to look at. So if there is comment, it is informed comment, and therefore makes the process work a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you, Avi. Okay, that's all the speaker forms I have. So the next item on our agenda is the consent calendar. The purpose of the consent calendar is to make a single motion to approve all included items. If for a particular reason an item needs to be discussed or pulled from the consent calendar, then a call to remove that item should be made by a board member. For our meeting, what's on our consent calendar is approval of the April 9th, 2015 meeting minutes, approval of the March 2015 financial statements, the CD and investment plan as recommended by the Finance Committee, which includes 2 investments, and there were no analysis requests, and there were no lien or foreclosure actions.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Wayne Staples. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next item is the treasurer's report. Wayne?
Yes, good afternoon. Am I loud enough? I see a head shaking yes in the back. Okay, the treasury report for the month of April, at the end of April, Our assets were $6.9 million. Of that, $4.7 million is in reserves for future replacements, upgrades, and so forth. And we have total equity of $1.9 million. I'd like to just, well, one of the other things that I'm always asked is how are our delinquencies going? They're going. And they actually went down this month. We had a couple very large ones where escrow closed on 2 properties so that they got paid off. And another, actually 3 of them. But one of them still had a balance when it was foreclosed on and has gone down into the, as a former owner. But we have 13 current homeowners that are in our delinquent status. 6 of them are over $1,000. The other 7 are smaller ones. Most of these are on payment plans. A couple of them we're monitoring right now for foreclosure, where they could be foreclosed upon, some of on the larger ones. The question came up last month about us doing some of our investments through first residential investments, First Service Investments, which is a division of First Service Residential. I'll get the names right sometime. The reason that we want to do this was, one, the rates that we're getting on CDs right now range, on our CDs right now, the CDs range from 0.15% to 0.35%. And those are on the investments that we're doing right now. We do have three investments that are still out there until July that we invested a year ago that are at 0.7, but that's quite unusual. By going to First Service Financial, they have opened up a group of accounts and banks that will give us this rates of this or higher in money market accounts. These are not mutual funds. They're not that type of a money market. It's like a savings account. And so we've agreed to go along with these where we can get rates on balances over 100 in the range right now, and this is as of February, so it could have changed some, in the 0.5% to 0.6%. So the agreement was to do this. We've had a little stall in this. We had to get signature cards signed, which we've done this week. So a lot of this money will be going into these banks very, very shortly. And then we will be doing some going into CDs because, as I said, we have $4.7 million in reserve funds. And of this 4.7, we can only put 250,000 in most of these banks because that's what's insured by the FDIC. So it would take a lot of banks to put that $4.7 million in. So we'll parcel that out, and then we may put some of the CDs in longer terms where we could get, well, on one of them we could get 0.75% on a 3-year CD. And we need to plan how much of this money we're going to need immediately, how much is going to be needed in 2 years and 1 year and 3 years. And so that's what the Finance Committee is doing. But that's the reason that, and none of this money stays at First Service Financial. They're like a broker that will find the investments for us and put the money out in another manner. And the question was last month that this could be a conflict of interest by using them where they own Euclid Management, but there's no conflict because all they're doing is finding us investments for our money.
Thanks, Wayne. Thank you. Okay, report on executive session or action taken between meetings. There was an executive session held at 9 a.m. this morning. During that executive session, the board reviewed delinquencies. There were 5 hearings for non-payment of assessments, 4 remain unresolved, and 1 has been resolved. There were no lien or foreclosure actions taken at this time. We did have 5 enforcement hearings, which were unresolved. The board did renew the motion picture license contract for a cost of $1,286 per year. Personnel was reviewed. The board reviewed and considered annual staff salary adjustments. And under legal issues, we continue to resolve an age verification matter. So we'll go ahead and start on committee reports. Our first committee report is from the Architectural Committee. Is Marcia available? Bill, you're up for the Bistro Committee.
I'm Bill Taylor, Chairman of the Bistro Committee. The committee met on Tuesday, April 28th. We discussed several things. One item was what to do with the conference room when the bistro has an overflow of diners. We talked about it and came to no firm decision, but I see by a sign on the door that the decision has been made by the board. Here are just a few reminders to the homeowners. Smitty makes deliveries free. Food ordered is not free. Just call the bistro. Now that the pool is open, it must be understood by all homeowners using the pool area that Smitty is not responsible for picking up or cleaning this area. Please police your table area, pick up and throw away cans and trash in the trash containers. Again, we are asking all homeowners and guests not to sit on the upholstered chairs after coming in from the pool. Even sitting on a towel will not keep the chair dry. Please do not sit on the bistro chairs if you are wet. The next meeting is May 26th, 11 a.m. in the conference room, if it's there. And all homeowners are invited to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Our next committee is communication. Is Randy available? Emergency preparedness, Gary Sturtevant. Oh, Avi is going to make the report. Great.
Okay. I'm the chairman of vice chairman of the committee, and I'll report for Gary. Our last committee was essentially the input for it was to establish the members and subcommittee members. We had 2 openings, one because Jean decided to leave, and it's not nice. And so we filled those 2 openings with Rudy Garcia and Gary Sturtevant became members of the committee. After noting that Gary is brand new to the committee, we definitely made him chairman. So that was the way to go. He has a tremendous amount of experience, knows more about IC structures, incident command structures than any of us ever will, and he's going to be a great chairman for us. We reviewed all the rules for committees just to make sure everybody's on board. And then Gary presented us an emergency operations training program, and that was the bulk of the time that was spent. Our next meeting is this coming Tuesday, the 19th at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thanks, Avi. Okay, next committee is finance. Any representatives from finance? All right, Lynn, landscaping, our favorite committee today.
It's always nice to be needed. Part of the reason, if not the main reason, most of us have acquired homes in this area is we like the look of the place. I think we 95% agree that the builder has done a great job in desiring an attractive place for our homes. In the Front Yard Cost Center, and really throughout the community, we have a similar look. That doesn't mean it's identical from block to block or house to house, but it has similarities. If you go down one street, you might find magnolias trees. If you go down another one, you might find rhodinias or a pear tree or something. But we have similarities of looks. Over time, because the realities of our water situation have dictated a change, we're starting to see some new similarities, particularly in Phase D, and I'm pretty sure in Phase E as well, with respect to turf. In Phases A and B, turf was the cover that covered everything that wasn't in front of a house. If you have a large expanse between two houses, you turfed it. Well, that has changed if you go down to Phase D and look at the homes. The new ground cover that you'll find between houses is plant material and plants, not turf. Turf has gone from being the major ground cover in the front yard to a minor cover in the front yard. Side yards no longer have turf. And the big common areas have shrunk if they do have turf. If we're going to keep up with that similarity look and at the same time change our water wasting ways, we're going to have to change back Phases A and B to start looking like Phases D and E, which means we're going to have to expand planter areas into what is now turf, and to change over turf areas and common areas to the look you see in front of the summit. So the Landscape Committee is going to propose many of these changes take place over the next several years within our community, consistent with what the budget will afford. And I'll be proposing that to the committee and possibly requesting that they create an ad hoc committee to include the Art and Finance Committee and possibly another committee to make sure we're all in concert with what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Our next committee is Rules and Regulations. Carol?
Good afternoon. It's kind of still, I'm up here talking to you guys and you were all there. So, the findings, our committee looked at our guidelines that we just sent out. It's hard to look that way. That we just sent out, and are finding that there is some language in there that we do need to correct or change. That some of it might be just a little difficult to understand, so we're looking at correcting certain terms and seeing if we can't make it easier for our homeowners to understand some of our rules. Jerry already talked about what we spend a lot of time on earlier. So I would also like to take this time to thank Jerry for the article that was in the Breeze about navigating the roundabouts. I personally have to navigate 3 of them to get down to the lodge. So I have noticed, actually, that there's been a great deal of improvement. People are using their signals and nodding to you when you use yours and thanking you. So thank you, Jerry, for that article. I think it is a big help.
You're welcome. Okay, safeties, facilities. I don't believe Dennis is here. And social event will be covered by Cindy. And then ad hoc technology. Do we have a representative from the ad hoc technology committee? Nope. Okay. Let's go on to the next item on the agenda, which is the committee appointments and or resignations. I've got the list of the committees and their recommended members for appointment. Do we want to go through all the list by committee?
We'll do it in
And as one, okay.
one motion.
Okay, so let's start the list. For architectural, Marcia Gormley and Carl Bushman, co-chairs. Colleen Langston, Brian Anderson, Jerry Bonner, Tom Halley, and Ron Burke. For bistro, William Taylor would be chair. Doug Smith, Richard Yames, Cheryl Burke, Suzanne Roldan, Jill Anderson, Ann Blair. For communication, Randy Balt would remain chair. Leighton Mac McLaughlin, Bobby Eckel, Patty Jordan, Melody Seaworster, Nikki Rosen, Lori Larson. For EPP, Gary Sturdivant, chair. Avi Green, co-chair. Fred Weck, John McLaughlin, Rudy Garcia, Dick Van Bree, and Nita Worthen. For finance,
That's
no.
also included in that subcommittee,
Excuse me?
the subcommittee for EPC.
I didn't put the subs.
Okay, what is that?
Excuse me?
It's on here.
It's on here, Ron Morgan, Scott Britton, and Mike Mendoza.
Okay, thank you. Finance would be Noel Myers, chair. Bob Melville, Don Fant, Dick Bentley, Jim Peterson, Claudine Diaz, Georgia Coleman. Landscape, Lynn Tavernetti would remain chair. Robert Cooper, Beverly Webster, Sharon Bond. Rules and Regulations, Carol Napolsky remains chair. Barbara Miller, Lynette Simonson, Leighton Mac McLaughlin, Louise Lyon, Ron Morgan, Niall Sundstrom. For Safety and Facility, Dennis Gray remains chair. Anita Worthen, Bill Guy, Les Kowalczyk, Doug Smith, Scott Britton, Jan Bushman. Social, Melody Seaworster remains chair. Burlette Brummel, Betty Ann James, Mary Primack, Tanya Thornton, Tony Feiner. And the Ad Hoc Technical Committee, Larry Goodrow, chair. John Horning, Colin Taylor, David Hold, Terry D. Marino, Jeff Davidson, Pete Antoine, Steve Sarchette, Stan Sweeney, Jerry Sanfilippo, John Noonan, Mark Lassen, Mary Chrisselman, Penny McDonald, Andy Shipper, and Michael Rothberg. I need water.
Do I have a motion to ratify the membership as read by our general manager?
So moved.
Motion by Wayne Staples, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Gene Sandoval, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next item on the agenda is review and act upon club and group application requests. This month we do have 2 group requests. The first one is on page 60, and that's the Road Runner RV group. Do you want to do these individually, or do you want to do them in total?
Individual will be fine.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the Roadrunners RV as a group?
So moved.
Motion by Wayne Staples, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Gene Sandoval, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next group application is on page 61, and this is the Computer and Technology Group.
Do I have a motion to approve the computer and technology as a group?
So moved.
Motion by Gene Sandoval, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Wayne Staples, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next item on the agenda is to review and act upon homeowner facility use requests. And the first request is on page 63. This is the Habitat for Humanity fundraiser. And the request is for an additional half an hour of staff time. They are aware that they would pay for that additional time.
Do I have a motion to approve the request by the Habitat for Humanity fundraiser for an additional staff time?
So moved.
Motion by Gene Sandoval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Wayne Staples, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next item is on page 66. This is a private wedding. They may possibly be requesting the use of the amphitheater on January 23rd, 2016.
Do I have a motion to approve the request for a wedding to use the amphitheater on January 23rd, 2016?
So moved.
Motion by Wayne Staples, second.
Second.
By Jean Sandoval. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And now our activities director report.
I appreciate that. Okay, I have no clue how to do this now, because I'm not putting my back towards you. All right, let's see if I can get this off. Go off then. Okay. You can get this side, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's always changes, right? Okay, so here's what's going on. We are having on Friday night Truthful Trivia Night. And I don't know if anybody went to our Liars Trivia. We're still trying to figure out exactly what the total difference is. But we have several people on our expert panel that are sure to square us away. And you're welcome to bring in your dinners and your favorite beverages for that. You will, even if you don't bring favorite beverages, you will probably think that you did. Yeah. when you watch our expert panels come up with these answers to trivia questions and so forth. They're quite animated, as you know, and it's a blast. It's funny, it's free, and it's not boring, so why not? Okay, next. We have, oh, I didn't tell you what time it started, did I? 6 o'clock here. So we'll have our big rounds all set up, and you can comfortably have your dinner and be able to have lots of arm room to, you know, mock and point. So it'll be fun. And then one of my favorite events that we do during the year is the Art-O-Rama event. We've called it Corks and Canvases in the past, but corks pulled out, so now we're just canvases. But you can bring your own. How about that? We're going to have live music. We're going to have some refreshments. And if you are new to Four Seasons, you will be so blown away at how much talent sits in this community. So much talent. We are going to have our drawing and sketching folks. A lot of them are actually professionals or really at that caliber. So it's really beautiful to see some of the things they do. So we have drawing and sketching, we have quilting, we have painting, we have all kinds of things, ceramics. So it's really beautiful and it makes for a really neat, colorful evening to just be immersed in art and music and specialness. So there you go. That, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, June 12th, it's a Friday night, so actually you can even do the Friday night steakhouse if you want to do that, and make it a whole night. And the doors open at 5 o'clock. If you are one of the artists that are going to be participating, we're going to be having setup available here in the ballroom on Friday after 12 noon. So feel free to cruise in. And let your instructor know, or let me know, if you would like me to reserve a table for your class or for you individually. Okay? And we're going to have it packed out and it's going to be gorgeous. Next, social committee is still working hard on preparing for the Tea and Fashion Show on Saturday, June 6th. The doors are going to open at 11 a.m. And as you know, we have all kinds of little fashion accessory things that you'll have fun cruising through and maybe even picking a couple little things up for yourself. Our showcased fashion line is from Chico's, so that's going to be neat. And the performance is off the charts. They have already been practicing for over a month now, and it's going to be crazy. With music and little mini entertainment vignettes along with the fashions. So, and then I'll be your MC again. So it's going to be fun, nice little luncheon. If you were unable to get tickets, because we had a very odd thing happen that has never happened in the whole history of selling tickets, and that is they sold out every single ticket in 3 hours. 3 hours, which is pretty amazing. So they're happy that they're doing something right, that so many people want to do it, and they're sad that so many people missed out on it. So we're brainstorming that one for you. But there is a waiting list, and as you know, lots of people decide at the last minute that either, they get a better offer, or they're not feeling good, or, So don't feel like it's too late. Get your name on there. You just might get called, okay? And that's at the lodge desk. Again, that is Saturday, June 6th. Doors opening at 11, and the show starting at 12. Clubs and classes. Wine Club. This is going to be a blast tonight. Wine Club's having a special event here at 6 p.m. And they are going to be having a special guest speaker from Viking Cruises who is going to give a visual slideshow projection of some of the different regions in France, and then they have brought $500 worth of wine and cheeses and that kind of thing so that you can actually taste the wine from the different regions. So that's going to be pretty cool. So if you have a taste for vino, this might be your time to enjoy a pour or two and get educated. So that is going to be, like I said, tonight at 6, right here. And you'll just come sign in. If you're a member, there's a different price for member and guest. What is it, Sonia?
$5 for member, $10 for guest.
Okay, $5 for member, $10 for guest. And I think they're having a raffle too.
Yes.
There'll be raffles and stuff. So anyway, that should be exciting.
That's on the 50/50.
Okay, so bring money and bring your connoisseur palette and get ready to get all about France. Okay, and next, sad thing, mark it on your calendar, but the radio show players have canceled their May 30th show, Boo Hiss, so you'll have to stay tuned to find out what happens to the radio sequel next time. I think it's in October, but they've had a combination of unforeseen circumstances and illness that the particular performers are not able to do it, darn it, because they always do such a good job on that. And then, finally, the thing you've all been waiting for. I can't wait. This Sunday is, yes, the first of the Amphitheater Concert Series. Oh yeah, you'll be able to get down with the awesome contemporary country poppy music of Nitro Express. And they are really good. You'll enjoy them. They come even festively dressed. So that adds to the fun ambiance of it. It starts at 7. Cross your fingers that we don't have inclement weather. But if we do, just in case we do, yes, and Penny's coaching me, bring, yes, use my coach there. She's saying bring blankets, bring dress warm stuff. Don't forget, if you're going to bring wine glasses, please make them the plastic kind, so we don't have glass going on. And it's going to be great. We're even spraying for the ants. No ants in your hands. And come down early because yes, Phyllis?
If it rains, will you hold it inside?
We so will. Thank you for saying that. Yes. So just know if it starts looking like it's going to rain around 2 o'clock, we'll be pulling all the equipment back in here. Bring your fun lawn chair though, because gosh, it makes it almost seem like you're outdoors. We're all sitting in our lawn chairs, and we've done that before, haven't we, you guys? So that's pretty fun. So there you go. That concert starts at 7 o'clock, in case I forgot to tell you. And I can't wait. It's going to be great. This whole season of concerts is really going to be fun. And I really want to put a big shout out to the ad hoc technical committee with Amphitheater, who have been doing training classes They've been hauling all that heavy equipment out there to the amphitheater in preparation for these concert series, setting them up, tearing them down, setting them up, making sure that they've got the technical stuff going on. And a big applause to them, because that is not easy. And it takes a commitment. And we have the best group we've ever had, don't we, girls? Yes, we do. We have even girls pulling cables out there. So, yeah, it's going to be a great year. Don't miss it. And thanks. I can't wait. We're going to start our summer memories together almost.
Summit 4th of July.
Guess what I just found out? A decision was made at the executive session, and that is, I'm glad you stopped, Bill, because it's important. The summit is going to be open on the 4th of July until 10 p.m. Oh, yeah. The lodge, sorry. Yeah. The lodge is going to close at 7, okay? So there you go. You can make your plans, and if you're really, really lucky, you'll be able to see from the corner of your eye the fireworks from the city.
All righty, back to business, girls and boys. Okay, next item on the agenda is the management report. And on pages 71 through 109 in the board packet is the management updates and activity log. Do any of the board members have any questions? Okay, also in the board packet, pages 110 through 112 is the correspondence log. Any questions regarding the log? And then the fun stuff. Okay, pages 113 through 179 are the communications from homeowners and from staff. Is that?
She said, let's get there first.
All right. I'll talk real slow. Okay, our first request is on page 113.
Okay, got it.
Yes. Okay. Just some information. Currently, the lodge flag is flown daily unless there's inclement weather. You know, our practice has been that we do get some high winds here, and on occasion we've gotten a little storm, so we would bring the flag in. During that time, it's brought into the office, and then we return it back to the flagpole when it goes away. We do purchase the all-weather flags, so they can withstand some of the weather under regular weather conditions. We do have a homeowner that's requesting that we allow the flag to remain on the flagpole 24/7. So the board has the options of continue with our current policy or allow the flag to fly 24/7.
Personally, I think it would be nice to be able to fly it 24/7. Unfortunately, I don't think our weather allows us to do that, in the sense that there are times that during the night, if we have a windstorm come up that's really bad, there is no staff, there is no one to actually tend to the flag at that point in time. So myself at this time, I don't know that that would be the best decision at this time, but I will add.
Also, I'd like to just say that even though we do keep the flag up during the daytime, and it does get windy sometimes out there, just go out sometime and stand to the west of the flagpole, and the flagpole is leaning slightly. It's because of the wind that is blowing that flagpole during the daytime. So again, as Jackie said, I don't think it's practical for us to fly it 24/7 at this time.
So in that, I will ask, is there a motion to approve the request from the homeowner to fly our flag 24/7? And hearing no motion, I find it failed for the lack of a motion.
Okay, next request is on page 116.
I would say that, this is something we might want to revisit at any point in the future when we perhaps have a gate staff that is a 24/7 gate staff.
Okay.
where there would be someone available to actually take the flag down should it be needed.
Okay. Page 116 is a request from a homeowner. He's trying to get FHA certification for the Springdale units. And he's requested that we provide, there is a cost for some of these documents if you go to an outside party to provide them. Many of the documents are available here on site. Some of them are available on the website, but there are a few that have to be obtained either from the insurance agent or from the Euclid Management corporate office. So he's requested that the board give consideration to providing the documents we can from here and then get the remainder of the documents from the offsite offices. So the choices are the board can advise the homeowner to obtain all the requested documents from the Euclid Management corporate office, or require the homeowner obtain the documents if unavailable at the on-site office from Euclid Management corporate office, and then we will provide what we do have. Or the homeowner can obtain the documents unavailable on the website or the on-site office on his own, and then we'll provide what's available. So you've got 3 different options.
Now, these are all documents that are necessary for him to continue his certification?
Correct.
For an FHA loan?
Correct. They need a certification filled out. They need a copy of the management agreement, a copy of the CC&Rs, bylaws, insurance policy, and some other miscellaneous documents. So we could provide him the CC&Rs, bylaws. We'll contact the insurance agent and see if we can't obtain a hard copy for him. But as far as the management agreement and filling out the certificate, that does come from our corporate office. Mm-hmm.
So our choices are to require the homeowner to obtain the requested documents from ENC. That would include all of the documents.
All of them.
All the documents. Number 2 would be require the homeowner to obtain the documents unavailable from us, which we could provide the CC&Rs, the bylaws, and perhaps the insurance certificate.
Correct.
And the 3rd one would be require the homeowner to obtain the documents unavailable on the website. So again,
I think it's feasible. Number 2, we should be able to provide him everything we can, and then what we can't, he would still need to get it. He would need to obtain those documents from the corporate office.
so he could contact Euclid and
Yes.
get it and pay for those particular documents.
Correct.
Okay.
So is that option 2?
Yes.
That's option 2. Do I have a motion? Would someone like to make a motion for one of the options?
I'll make a motion for option 2.
Yeah, I have a motion from Wayne Staples to approve option 2, which would require the homeowner to obtain the documents unavailable from us themselves. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Second from Jean Sandoval. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, the next request is on page 123. This is regarding the newly planted pine trees on Green Creek Trail. I believe this issue has been resolved.
This issue has been resolved, so we can pull it.
Okay, next request is on page 139. As soon as I can get there.
Who gets there first?
There.
Page 139. This is a Quiet Creek homeowner reported that the walkway in front of their home was extremely dark, and so it's made it difficult for guests to stay on the sidewalk in order to get to their car. So the request was submitted to Safeties and Facilities, and they decided not to make a recommendation, so it has been forwarded to the board for consideration.
And I note here that a second fall has occurred due
That's-
to this area.
That's what was reported.
I would like come to the 3 homeowner board members as an advisory, and we can meet with this homeowner and collect what information we need about the area in question and come forward with a decision.
Okay. So we'll table this request pending further investigation and meeting with the homeowner. Okay, next item is on page 151. And this is a request from the Bloomington Park homeowners to have the live oak trees on the Edison easement slope trimmed.
This is a petition I see.
Yes.
Also like to table this until next month, but however, would like to meet with a representation of those homeowners.
Representative.
Representative. Yeah.
One person.
Not representation.
No.
One person.
Okay, so this item is tabled pending a meeting with a street representative.
Correct.
To discuss the issue. Okay. Next is a request. It's on page 154, sorry. It's a request from the homeowners on Arches Park and in the surrounding area. There's a little patch of landscaping that may need to be replaced. They also have some large dead-end signs and some cautionary signs as it is the end of the street. They're requesting consideration be given to kind of upgrade that area and make it more presentable.
This has been turned over to us now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think we can get rid of the dead-end sign, probably, but we'll send it to landscape just to look at the foliage, the plant life.
This, if I remember right, this dead ends down into
the Tinker's Creek slope.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think before we get rid of the dead end sign, we have to upgrade the landscape first.
But I understand the dead end sign is a huge sign.
It's probably what was recommended by the city.
There's a fence
Yeah.
there. We'll send it to landscape and they can look at the area to see what's best.
Okay, next request is on page 177. And there were two parts to this request. The first one is to continue the fence line at the edge of the conservation area on Trail C. And then also consider putting a no trail access sign to Trail B, where it goes up to the picnic table. So we've already started putting in the no through trail sign. However, there should be consideration as far as continuing the fence. Do we want to assign it to a particular committee, or do we want to go ahead and?
I think this should go to landscape.
You don't have anything else to do, right, Lynn?
This is a simple one, though. It's just a matter of.
Simple one.
Yeah, probably.
Are you talking about on Green Creek Trail?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went out and looked at it, and yes, we need to block that area off, and I told the homeowner at the next landscape committee meeting, we would bring it up, and we would probably ask to extend it the same way we're doing up there on Trail C.
Okay.
Great.
Part of the same package.
Okay. To landscape. Okay, so that was the end of the homeowner requests. We do not have any old business this month, so we'll go ahead and start on the new business items. And the first one is the community meeting speaker proposal from the Emergency Preparedness Committee. They're requesting that Dr. Lucy Jones speak at a community meeting about the dangers of the southern section of the San Andreas Fault and how we can better prepare our community. It is, the cost would be approximately $150 or not to exceed. And I don't see that the date has been selected, but I think we're waiting for approval first.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, currently, Dr. Jones is not able to come and speak at the time that we requested. She said that she could come later in the year, but she did recommend another lady who is seismology tech at one of our university labs, and she's very as smart as this Dr. Lucy on earthquake and earthquake preparedness, and her name is Margaret Einci, E-I-N-C-I, and so her name is recommended in place of Dr. Jones.
Do we have a date?
No date yet.
No date, any date?
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve the EPC, approve the request from EPC to have a speaker, perhaps a Miss NC, speak to the community regarding earthquake preparedness at a date yet to be announced?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Wayne Staples. Discussion?
I think it's great.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, excuse me, let me add to that with an amount of $150.
Thank you.
So do I have a second to that?
Second.
And the first, okay.
First, second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, on page 181 is a proposal from the Finance Committee, and it's that time of year again to start our budget process. And part of that process is to have a reserve study completed or updated. It is recommended that it was recommended by the Finance Committee to have SCT reserve consultants prepare a financial update for the Master Association at a cost of $800, a financial update reserve study for the Front Yard Cost Center at a cost of $300, a financial update reserve study for the Springdales at a cost of $450, and a quantification study for the Summit at a cost of $900.
For a total of?
A lot of money. $2,450.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from the Finance Committee for the approval for SCT Reserve Consultant to prepare a reserve study update for the Master Association Front Yard Cost Center, Springdales, and a qualification study for the Summit?
So moved.
An amount of $2,450.
So moved.
A motion by Wayne Staples. Do a second?
Second.
Second by Jean Sandoval. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, C was removed on page 183. On page 185 is a proposal from the Landscape Committee. The recommendation is to install red apple on white sands. The plant does not winter, it says the plant does not winter over in 4 seasons and has mostly been removed. So the recommendation is replacement with turf similar to the remainder of the yard. And the cost is $1,700.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from the Landscape Committee to remove the apple at White Sands and replacement with turf in the amount of $1,700?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval, second.
Second.
Second by Wayne Staples. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, on page 187 is a recommendation from the Landscape Committee along Trail C near the basin is to plant deer grass in the Bear area. The cost would be not to exceed $1,300.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from the Landscape Committee regarding an area on Trail C in the Bear section to fill the area with deer grass in an amount not to exceed $1,300?
So moved.
A motion by Jean Sandoval, second by Wayne Staples. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, on page 189 is a proposal from the Landscape Committee to renovate the Mesa Verde Circle, similar to what went in on Crooked Creek. And the cost is $12,000. The agreement is that Hovnanian has also agreed to split the cost with the HOA, so they would pick up $6,000 and we would pick up $6,000.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from the Landscape Committee for the rehab of the redo of the Mesa Verde SAP traffic circle in a total amount of $12,000, $6,000 to be borne by the association, $6,000 by Hovnanian?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval.
Second.
Second by Wayne Staples. Discussion. The area in question is being constantly plagued with water runoff from the traffic circle itself, which is impacting the stability of the cobblestones around the traffic circle. So unless we want to continue or keep having to replace or repair, the best way is to reduce the amount of water going to the area, which of course is in line with what we want to do, is reduce water use in the community. And this will resolve that issue much as it resolved the issue at the Crooked Creek entrance. Any more comments, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next proposal is on page 192. It's recommended that the trees along Pipe Springs and Green Creek Trail be trimmed. The cost for the trimming would be not to exceed $1,800.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from Landscape Committee for the pruning of the trees on Pipe Springs and Green Creek Trail in the amount of $1,800?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval. Second.
Second.
Wayne Staples. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next proposal is on page 194. This is from a recommendation from the Landscape Committee. Along the corner of Pipe Springs and Green Creek Trail, we constantly battled the rabbits there. They really like what we keep trying to get to grow there. So we're recommending that the area be planted with baccharis. The cost to replace the plants and plant in the bare area would not to exceed $2,800.
I'd like to make a caveat on this, that the actual plant palette has changed.
Okay.
So we'll just do a not to exceed on this.
Okay.
This motion to approve the Landscape Committee's request to rehab the corner of lot on Pipe Springs and Green Creek Trail in an amount not to exceed $2,800.
So moved.
Motion by Wayne Staples, second.
Second.
By Jean Sandoval. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, page 196 is a recommendation from the Landscape Committee to plant the northwest corner of the lodge parking lot. Currently, every winter, due to the frost, the Myoporum fails, and so it's recommended that we plant with Photinia and rosemary. The cost would be not to exceed $825.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from the Landscape Committee for the replanting of the northwest corner of the lodge parking lot in the amount of $825?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval, second.
Second.
Second by Wayne Staples. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, we're done with landscaping. We're on to facilities. Okay, page 198 is a recommendation from Safety and Facilities. This should be taken into two motions. The first is to install a filter and chlorinator pump in the fountain. The cost to install it is $725.
Do I have a motion to approve the request of Safety and Facilities for the installation of a filter and chlorinator pump in the fountain in the amount of $725?
So moved.
Motion by Wayne Staples, second.
Second.
Second by Jean Sandoval. Discussion. This will, actually, it's the fountain out here. It will help maintenance on the fountain and reduce the problems. In further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, currently our water features are being maintained by Brad Alms Landscaping, and it was recommended after the renovation of the fountain that it be given to a fountain maintenance company. Web Pools happens to have that ability. The cost is $250 a month, and Brad said he'd be more than willing to give it up.
Sure you would. Do I have a motion to approve the request of Safety Facilities to award to Web Pools the maintenance of our fountain in the amount of $250 per month?
So moved.
Moved by Wayne Staples, second.
Second.
Second by Jean Sandoval. Discussion.
Just that the cost of whatever Brad was charging come out of his...
That's correct. His contract would reduce by that amount.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next proposal is on page 201, and it's a recommendation from the Safety and Facilities Committee, and the recommendation is to install an automatic chemical pump on the spa pool here at the lodge. We currently do not have one. There is an automatic filler up at the summit, and the cost would not exceed $581.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from Safety and Facilities for the installation of an automatic chemical pump for the spa pool at the lodge in an amount of $581?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval, second.
Second.
Wayne Staples, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And I just a note on this. Currently, we're having to drain, scrub, and refill about every 7 to 10 days as part of the pool maintenance. So this would reduce the need to do that. Again, another way to save some water and also some maintenance costs.
Okay, on page 202, we have over 228 plastic lampshades on the chandeliers throughout the lodge facility. Thank you, Vanna. Okay, and these were the original lampshades that were installed back in 2007. Currently, some of them are breaking or they're just needing to be replaced due to the age. We are looking at proposed lampshades. And so we are recommending the replacement of the lampshades not to exceed $2,500 with clip-on cloth shades.
Do I have a motion to approve the request from the management company for the replacement of our chandelier and lighting shades in the lodge in an amount not to exceed $2,500?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval, second. By Wayne Staples, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and the last item is on page 203. In preparation of our transferring the computer room over to the 1528 building, we've had a number of residents ask if we're going to replace the computers with an upgraded version. And it's, according to the reserve study, it is time to replace those pieces of equipment. And so there's two recommendations. One is you can replace them with 4 new Windows computers with Office installed. In this configuration, the monitors from the current computer room would be used with the new hardware to help save on costs. Costs are estimated to be $3,179. An option is to purchase 4 new Chromebook laptops without Office installed. Homeowners could use Google Docs, a free online cloud-based software. The Chromebooks are able to be locked and not stolen. The main function would be browsing the web, not writing letters or other Office features. The cost for the Chromebooks would be $1,395.
Okay.
If you got, I think that kind of.
I'd like to make a motion that we purchase the 4 new Windows computers with Office installed, and I'll get into the reason later.
I have a motion.
To an amount not to exceed 36.
So a motion to approve the request for the this is from reserves, for 4 new Windows computers with Office installed in an amount of $3,179.26 from our reserves.
Could be shipping and so forth. So not to exceed 3,600.
Okay, not to exceed 3,600. I have a motion for that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Jean Sandoval. Discussion?
Yeah, the reason I'm suggesting we buy the Windows computers with the Office installed is this basically monitors what we have now in the computer room. And I think that's, what we should be trying to do that. The people are familiar with a Windows computer, and if we went to Chromebooks, it's a new learning step. They're also, even though they say they can be locked and not stolen, it's only with a cable. A nice cable cutter can cut that cable. So I think the 4 new Windows computers is the way to go, and especially where it's coming out of reserves. It's money that we put aside for these for replacement.
And also, I think at this time, the size of the screen will be the same.
Yeah,
We'll be using the same monitors,
screens.
so the size won't be reduced. Also, we're reducing the number of computers.
Correct. I think we're going from 10 computers
10
to 4.
computers down to 4.
Mhm.
Any further comments, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, that's it for new business. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 11th, 2015, 1 p.m. here in the Lodge Ballroom.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Motion by Jean Sandoval. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.